Last time we talked about how to multiply integers and we observed the main idea of how to understand what happened with the multiplication of integers. But now in this video we're going to see how these rules of multiplying integers apply when you want to divide integers. So let's go. So as you remember, or you can see in the last video about multiplication of integers, we realized that multiplying a positive times a negative is negative, a negative times a positive it's negative, and a negative times a negative is going to be positive. Now, we didn't include the fact that if you multiply a positive number by a positive number, the answer is going to be positive. Okay, because we understand that this is the main idea. But now, how can we get the rules of division by using the rules of multiplication? The idea here is that we're going to use the fact that the division is just the inverse operation of multiplying. So if you remember that division is just the inverse operation of multiplying, so you can get any rule that you want. Why? Because, for example, let's say that I have a negative number times a positive number. I know that the answer is negative. But this multiplication implies that if I want to do the inverse operation, I mean the negative number dividing the positive number, implies that the answer is negative. Okay, let's see it with an example. So let's imagine that you have the multiplication negative 5 times positive 8. The answer is going to be a negative number. Positive times negative is negative 40, right? But now I'm going to perform the division negative 40 divided 8. So I'm going to have a negative number by a positive number. But as division is the inverse operation, I need to find out the number that I multiply by positive 8 to get negative 40. That in this case is negative 5. So just by applying the inverse operation, I can get that any rule that I state here. Okay, so I'm just going to apply the inverse operation in every case to identify what will be the sign of a division. Every time you're working with division, you're trying to find the inverse operation. So in this case, let's say that I want to divide the positive number divided a positive number. So I can use this rule like positive divided positive. So the answer is going to be positive. Now let's use this rule to get negative. I'm going to divide a negative number by a negative number. So negative number divided a negative number. So the inverse must be positive. Applying the inverse operations. Now let's apply the inverse operation here. I have negative number divided a positive number. What I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get negative number divided a positive is gonna give me negative. And finally, negative number, a positive number divided a negative number. Positive number divided a negative number. So it's gonna give me negative. Now, as you can see, the rules for division and multiplication of integers are going to be kind of similar from the divisions or multiplications as the multiplications with positive or negative numbers. Because I just need to have that when we have the same sign is going to give you positive, and when you divide different signs, it's going to give you negative. So same signs is going to give you positive, different signs is going to give you negative. And this is how you can get the rules for dividing numbers. So you can just practice. Now, I suggest you to practice with many numbers, like for example, find the division of -6 divided -3 and write your comment. And for example, get the division of -27 divided 9. Or for example, 85 divided -17. What do you get? Okay, so you can write in the comments the answers to these questions to see if you understand how to get the division of two integers and how to understand what is the sign according to the division of two integers. Just something important, remember that multiplication and division rules are not the same as the rules you apply for addition or subtraction of integers. Remember that there's a video explaining addition and subtraction of integers that you can use to understand better how to use this. And I hope that you can write in the comments the answers of the next video of the questions. And I hope that this video helps you to understand more about division of integers. See you in the next video. Bye bye.